This album is my life. Like Withered is my life. Petals of Thorns and Lost Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
So I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true.
The investigation into singer David has intensified after the body of a teenager was discovered in a Tesla that has been linked to him.
This whole Celeste and David case didn't just take a dark turn, it went straight into nightmare territory. Investigators thought they had the story locked down, a timeline that made David look reckless with Celeste. But out of nowhere, his own brother Caleb threw a curveball, saying that so-called airtight timeline might be fake. That twist alone left everyone's jaw on the floor. Here's how it started. The feds rolled out their version of events, and at first glance, it looked like an open and shut case. Every detail seemed stacked against David. They traced it back to late 2021, early 2022, when David first linked up with Celeste online while playing Fortnite. Now, the feds claim David was already older, while Celeste was way younger. And that age gap instantly set off alarms. Then on March 28, 2022, David dropped a track called Decide. The lyrics had investigators spooked, especially when he said lines like "save your tears" and "7 years." People started whispering that it was a hidden message, hinting at Celeste's age and some creepy countdown. Investigators saw it as a massive red flag. Then came September 7th, 2022, Celeste's birthday. On that exact day, David dropped a track titled Romantic. Fans brushed it off as him tying music to real-life vibes, but to investigators, that was way too intentional, but way too bold. By October, Discord screenshots leaked out, showing David asking, "Is Celeste in here?" and her replying right back. From that point on, the suspicion only got heavier. But 2023 made things spiral even worse. A Twitch stream surfaced showing David joking around with Celeste about wild stuff, then panicking and telling her to delete the VOD before anyone could catch it. Investigators pounced on that clip, saying it proved he knew he was walking on thin ice. Then came February 2024, when everything exploded. Celeste's mom officially reported her missing. At the same time, the internet was already turning on David. His own comment section was full of warnings like LAPD's gonna catch you for messing with a 13-year-old. That's when this story shifted from messy drama to full-on disaster. That same month, shocking new photos of David and Celeste flooded the internet. Proof she was still by his side even after disappearing. It was like clockwork. Every time she went missing, some picture would pop up, yanking her right back into his world. By spring 2024, Celeste vanished yet again, only to pop up for a short moment before going off the grid completely in June. But then, come August, she was spotted backstage with David. On Discord, people were clowning him hard, dropping comments like, "Drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste." It felt like the internet had him boxed in before the cops even got close. But then came the nightmare twist. September 2025, investigators uncovered a body hacked apart and stuffed inside the trunk of a Tesla. Not just any Tesla, one registered to David himself. That's when the feds lined up their case like nails sealing a coffin. Within days, chaos erupted. Police stormed his manager's home, his label cut him loose without hesitation, and David scrambled online, wiping his Reddit history and locking down his Fortnite stats so nobody could trace his moves. To the feds, every single breadcrumb pointed straight back at him. But then, boom, Caleb, David's own brother, jumped in swinging. He flipped the whole thing on its head, saying that so-called airtight timeline wasn't proof of guilt, it was evidence that someone set David up. Just like that, the case got messy and suddenly Caleb became the wild card. But the drama didn't end there. Whispers started spreading that Caleb wasn't just keeping his distance. He might actually be cooperating with law enforcement. Reddit threads blew up, accusing him of snitching, dissecting his own lyrics, and suggesting he might have known more about Celeste than he ever let on. If that's true, Caleb wouldn't just be the brother exposing secrets, he'd be the brother helping cops piece together the whole nightmare. And in hip-hop, that word snitch is deadly. Some call it betrayal, others say it's straight-up justice. The fire really caught when reports claimed Caleb was disturbed by the accusations and started quietly feeding info to police. At the same time, online detectives tore into his music, pointing out bars that lined up a little too closely with what allegedly went down between David and Celeste. Then came the blurry backstage photo, supposedly showing Caleb with Celeste at one of David's shows, and that lit the internet on fire. Fans demanded answers immediately. Did Caleb know what was happening? Did he stay silent for years? Or is he just trying to scrub his name before the walls close in? The LAPD hasn't confirmed a thing, but their silence only makes the whispers grow louder. Some outlets are flat out blasting headlines that Caleb's been working hand in hand with investigators, and the internet went wild. Whether that's legit or just clickbait clout chasing doesn't even matter now, because Caleb's name is officially tangled in this nightmare. But think about it. If he really is cooperating, what's his end game? Is he just trying to cut ties and save himself before the feds start connecting every dot around David's circle? Remember, David's manager already had his house raided, and the label dropped him without a second thought. Everyone close to David is jumping ship, so if Caleb slid in as the informant brother, that could either be his survival move or the final blow that buries David once and for all. That's the chilling part. Because if Caleb really is handing over info, then all those cryptic lyrics, late-night voicemails, and even the tattoos fans dissected frame by frame might not just be random anymore. They could end up as evidence strong enough to push David's case right off the cliff. But before anyone crowns Caleb the ultimate snitch, we gotta rewind and check the chaos online. The endless rumors, fake exposés, and viral distractions that have clouded this case since day one. The first jaw-dropping rumor, a viral post on X pulling in over 2.5 million views, claiming Celeste was pregnant when she died, and that infant remains were supposedly found near David's house. That single post sent shockwaves through the fan base overnight. Suddenly, the story flipped from tragic relationship gone wrong to something way darker. But here's the cold truth. That rumor's been debunked completely. No forensic report, no official confirmation, not a single law enforcement statement backing it up, just raw misinformation spreading like wildfire because the internet was starving for answers. Then came the wild twist about Celeste's aunt, and this one cranked the drama up even higher. Screenshots started circulating of her flexing a new talent badge while posting shoutouts, almost like she was flipping the tragedy into a content hustle. Instantly, fans split in two. Some dragged her for clout chasing, while others argued she was just coping in her own way. Either way, it made people side-eye the entire family dynamic like never before. And all this noise, the fake leads, the viral rumors, the family drama, has turned this case into pure chaos. On one side, federal investigators are slowly piecing together a homicide case. On the other side, self-proclaimed online detectives are spamming the internet with unverified theories, half of which collapse the second anyone checks the facts. It's a circus, and separating truth from fiction is becoming almost impossible. But here's the dark angle no one's really talking about. What if this chaos isn't random? Flooding social media with fake leads and noise is the perfect way to bury the real evidence. If somebody wanted to cover their tracks, spamming timelines with lies would be the easiest way to keep the truth hidden. So now the real question becomes, are fans just reaching because they're desperate for answers? Or is this whole mess a calculated move to cloud the case? And this is where it gets straight up disturbing. While everyone online is chasing shadows, the most chilling evidence might have been hiding in plain sight the whole time, inside David's own music and interviews. Once you start digging into his lyrics, voicemails, and even his emotional breakdowns on stage, it stops feeling like art and starts looking like confession. Investigators and fans alike are dissecting every word, and what they're finding is terrifying. To really understand it, you gotta rewind to David's background. His parents yanked him out of school, homeschooled him, and raised him in a strict religious, hyper-controlling environment. David even admitted those details himself in an interview with Dazed. People close to the story claim he showed disturbing tendencies early on, an obsession with blood, death, and violence. And being isolated, spending endless hours gaming, only seemed to sharpen that darkness. Then came the fame, and that's when everything spiraled. The moment David blew up online and the money started pouring in, his parents finally loosened their grip. But instead of thriving, that freedom mixed with his obsession over Celeste, and fans believed that was the recipe for disaster. To David, Celeste wasn't just a girlfriend, she was the centerpiece of his twisted little universe, the muse and the obsession he couldn't let go of. One of the darkest theories out there says David may have killed her sometime between October and January, either right before or just after finishing his final album. And when you really break down that album, the tone, the lyrics, the interviews surrounding it, the theory doesn't sound wild anymore. It sounds terrifyingly possible. In one bone-chilling interview, David confessed, "That's what I feel for my art. It's beautiful for a time, so my music is only here for a temporary time. Withered is the process of going back to where I came from. I wanted the album to sound like a goodbye, a send-off to the next era or whatever I'm doing next." And he doubled down on that eerie vibe in a sit-down with Zach Ang, straight up confirming that the album was designed to feel like a farewell. Fans are now asking the question that won't go away. Was this just an artist being cryptic, or was David dropping a confession in plain sight? Looking back now, people can't stop debating. Was he saying goodbye to his career, or to Celeste herself? Over and over, David talked about the invisible string theory and the Korean concept of chong, a bond so deep it lingers even in toxic relationships. In one interview, David even admitted, "The irony was that the person who taught me this begged, 'Don't leave me,' but in the end, she left anyway. And now that person is no longer in my life." It's impossible not to link that straight to Celeste. And then there's the flower symbolism that's had fans completely shaken. His project Withered was supposed to transition into a deluxe version called Japanese Lily. In Japanese culture, the red spider lily symbolizes death, mourning, and the separation between the living and the dead. And the chilling detail, it blooms exactly as summer fades into fall, a season of endings. So what was this really? A clever metaphor for artistic growth, or a coded farewell to Celeste's fate? For a lot of people, the real smoking gun isn't hidden in rumors or Reddit threads. It's Celeste's actual voice echoing through David's music. In tracks like "I Never Needed You" and "So Long, Goodbye," you can hear voicemails of a crying, intoxicated Celeste apologizing, saying she misses him. In the very first track, she pleads, "You're always the one calling my phone. You have to figure out what's going on with you. Why are you..." And then it cuts off. It paints a haunting picture of a girl trying to pull away and a boy who refused to ever let go. Then there's the infamous SoundCloud drop Satan's Pursuit, which fans say is the darkest clue yet. Released in late 2023, David raps, "It kills me slowly day by day. I need to find somewhere to clean my thoughts, but I'm not happy at all. I let Satan pursue me. I still miss you the way it was before I threw my life away." Was that a confession in real time? And it wasn't just his recordings. His live shows turned disturbing too. In April 2025 at the BandLab Experience, David broke down mid-performance of Afterlife, sobbing so hard he couldn't even finish the song. Then just 2 months later, he collapsed again on stage performing the same track, leaving fans convinced they were watching a man unravel in front of the world. People can't agree on what they saw. Was it raw grief, crushing guilt, or both? But one thing is certain, it shook everyone to the core. Put all the pieces together. The birthday song releases, the death and flower imagery, the invisible string talk, Celeste's voice woven into his tracks, his repeated breakdowns on stage. And to a lot of fans, this stopped looking like coincidence a long time ago. It looks like obsession, frozen in time and immortalized in music. And that's what fuels the darkest theory yet, that David kept Celeste close for months after she disappeared and then left her body inside a Tesla, hoping it would be towed away and destroyed before anyone ever found it. Some even whisper maybe he wanted to get caught, because why else would he leave so many obvious clues scattered across his art? But here's the kicker. If David really was spiraling this badly, did the people closest to him, his management, his label, even his inner circle, know more than they admitted? And if they did, how deep does that cover-up go? The spotlight is shifting fast, and suddenly it's not just David under fire, it's his entire team. It all circles back to Josh Marshall, David's manager. The second Celeste's body was identified, the feds raided Josh's house without hesitation, and that raised one major question. Why go after the manager unless they believed he was tangled in this nightmare too? Fans online didn't hold back either. They lit up social media, accusing Josh and the label of enabling David's behavior for years, even claiming they'd been warned about Celeste being a missing minor as far back as 2024. If that's even halfway true, then Josh can't play clueless. Celeste wasn't just another fan in the crowd. She was officially reported missing, yet still spotted backstage at shows, surrounded by David's crew while clearly underage. She couldn't even drive, allegedly relied on fake IDs, and still showed up in photos at his concerts. To critics, it was a screaming red flag, and anyone in David's circle who saw her would have known something was off. So why didn't anyone step in? The theory making the rounds is cold. Everybody looked the other way because the money was rolling in. But the shady moves didn't stop there. Right after LAPD searched David's rented apartment, reports say Josh immediately terminated the lease. Fans took that as a cleanup job, a desperate attempt to wipe away evidence before investigators dug any deeper. And then came the label's lightning-fast response. They cut ties with David almost instantly, as if they knew the storm was about to blow wide open. But here's the twist. Caleb suddenly steps back into the spotlight. If David's own brother really is cooperating with investigators, then the feds might not just be circling David anymore. They could be aiming at everyone tied to him, the management, the label, even his family. Caleb pulling away or secretly feeding investigators info might be his way of dodging the blast while Josh and the label scrambled to wash their hands clean. Because one thing is crystal clear right now, David isn't the only one under suspicion anymore. His entire team is being dragged through the mud, and the deeper this case sinks, the more people believe this was never just one man spiraling out of control. It was a whole machine built to shield him until the truth got too big to bury. If this twist has you questioning everything, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, share this with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe. Because trust me, this story isn't slowing down. It's only getting darker, and the next chapter could blow the lid off everything. See you in the next one.